Imagine more for yourself.
With all the power from the tower, this is the powerhouse of the Eastern Caribbean, VON Radio, from the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis.
From the VON Newsline, this is the VON Major Newscast.
Good evening. I am Tashan Tyson in with you here in the news package for today, Thursday, 1st November 2018. In our lead stories, nationally, November is Youth Month here in St. Kitts and Nevis, and St. Kitts and Nevis educators trained in impact justice restorative practices. Regionally, Trinidad encounters 8 earthquakes in 8 days. Internationally, 2 men face charges following misappropriation of billions of dollars. And in sports, LeBron James' free throw gives Lakers win over Mavericks. We'll have the details of these and other stories after this message.
Another look.
Different from how you've seen it before.
Another look.
Takes an in-depth look into business, politics, science, technology, religion, and more.
Another look.
Featuring documentaries from the BBC, regional features, and local ones too.
Another look.
Every Monday at 3 p.m. on the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse, VON.
Welcome back, and all the national news in detail. Preserving our land of beauty. That's the theme for Youth Month 2018 here in St. Kitts and Nevis. Youth Month, which is observed in the month of November, offers an opportunity to facilitate and celebrate the dreams, aspirations, talents, and energies of young people ages 12 to 29 years from all backgrounds. In an address to mark the occasion, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Youth, the Honorable Sean Richards, said each year, Youth Month presents an opportunity to lend focus to the positive uplifting of the nation's youth. Minister Richards also highlighted some of the events planned for the month.
Some key events include the high school's chef competition, November 22nd at the Old Boys School. The Sparta-led visual art exhibition of student artwork opening November 14th at the Cable Building. The exciting High School Choir Festival, November 26th at the Sir Cecil Jacobs Auditorium. Each of these events is open to the general public, and we welcome all to come out and cheer on our talented and creative young people.
Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Youth, the Honorable Sean Richards. On Saturday, November 3rd, 30 individuals from youth organizations and youth-serving organizations will be trained in first aid and CPR. Meantime, St. Kitts and Nevis will join the other CARICOM member states in observing the month of November as Energy Month. CARICOM's theme for this year is Clean Energy, Good Governance and Regulations, Generating Growth and Resilience. St. Kitts and Nevis has adopted a sub-theme for the observance, Clean Energy Benefits You and Me. As part of activities for the month-long observance, persons can visit the Ministry of Public Infrastructure, Post, Urban Development and Transport on Friday 16th and 30th to collect LED lamps for their homes. Other activities include an energy health walk on Saturday 24th and the launch of the LED street lighting project later this month. This LED street lighting project will replace the existing street lights with LED lamps. 30 educators here in St. Kitts and Nevis were part of a 2-day training program in restorative practices. The training program falls under the Canadian government-funded Improved Access to Justice in the Caribbean Impact Justice Project. The educators included Chief Education Officer, principals, deputy principals, education officers, and guidance counselors. The October 29th and 30th activity was the third training session sponsored by Impact Justice in St. Kitts and Nevis. The first two were held in October 2015. It also marked the completion of formal training for two training restorative practices trainers, namely Miss Millicent Palmer Dawson and Miss Nadine Lawrence, both lecturers at the Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College. Impact Justice has focused on restorative practices as a means of addressing instances of bullying and violence in schools and has trained over 1,000 educators across 9 CARICOM countries in these techniques. It is envisaged that the restorative practices are incorporated in the curriculum of the Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College's teacher education program to expose new teachers to the concepts which they can introduce into the school setting. Acting Premier of Nevis and Minister of Public Works, the Honorable Spencer Brand, expressed his contentment with the status of Phase 1 of the Brownhill Road Rehabilitation Project. The Public Works Minister got a first-hand view of the project earlier this week and was accompanied by Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Public Works, Dr. Ernie Stapleton, and Director of the Public Works Department, PWD, Mr. Raoul Pemberton. I am satisfied with the quality of work, and I am satisfied with the pace, he said. He commended the PWD and stated that he hopes when Christmas comes, the residents of Brownhill would be driving on much improved conditions. Meantime, Mr. Pemberton noted that the first section of Phase 1 is completed, but work is ongoing in the second and third sections. In spite of delays due to unforeseen factors regarding the project, the PWD director said they expect to meet their deadline of mid-December. The first phase commenced from above Sandys through to Brownhill Communications, BHC. The second phase of the project is expected to begin in 2019. Positive role models. That's the theme for this year's observance of International Men's Day 2018, stated for November 19th. As part of celebrations, the Department of Gender Affairs here in Nevis has planned a number of events for the month of November, including, but not limited to, a church service, bike-a-thon, and awards ceremony. International Men's Day celebrates the positive value men bring to the world, their families, and communities. The day focuses on promoting gender equality, producing responsible males, and highlighting positive male role models. Men's Day is celebrated annually on November 19th. And finally, High Commissioner of St. Kitts and Nevis, His Excellency Dr. Kevin Isaac, and his counterpart, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Republic of Albania, His Excellency Erjako Kirko, signed a joint communique formalizing diplomatic relations between the Federation and the Republic of Albania. Albania is a country rich in minerals and natural gas, located in southeast Europe on the Adriatic and Ionian Sea within the Mediterranean Sea. In a brief ceremony today, Thursday, November 1st, at the High Commission in London, the two diplomatic envoys discussed opportunities for collaboration in the United Kingdom to forge partnerships in the areas of tourism, investment promotion, and to greater small state advocacy in international organizations such as the United Nations. High Commissioner Isaac and Ambassador Kirko agreed to work more closely in a timely manner to effect a reciprocal visa exemption protocol that would allow their citizens visa-free access to each other's territory. Dr. Isaac praised the signing ceremony as an opportunity to build people-to-people linkages and government-to-government partnership. Ambassador Kirko seconded the sentiments of High Commissioner Isaac that small countries must work more closely together to address common challenges. That's our national news segment. You can visit our website at www.vonradio.com, or you can check us out on our social media page on Facebook at Von Radio and our Von Radio YouTube channel. News from across the region is next.
in the hurricane season and danger is right upon us. That is why we at the Bank of Nevis Limited have decided that it is time we finish your home. Get that well-needed fence or make some minor upgrades to your home. On a more serious note, install some shutters to keep your family safe during this hurricane season. Visit us or contact us today at 1-869-469-5564. The Bank of Nevis Limited will always stay committed to improving the quality of life.
Welcome back. Another regional news in detail. Out of Trinidad and Tobago. On Tuesday night, October 30th, the country felt its 8th earthquake in 8 days, but as the case in the preceding tremors, there were no reports of damage or injury. According to the University of the West Indies Seismic Research Center, SRC, at the St. Augustine campus in Trinidad, the latest quake, a 4.4 magnitude one, occurred at 7:32 p.m. It was felt 113 kilometers west of San Fernando, Trinidad and Tobago, 86 kilometers northeast of Maturin, Venezuela, and 106 kilometers southeast of Carapano, Venezuela. Responding to questions about why so many earthquakes were felt in the past week, the SRC said, "The southeast corner of the Caribbean plate, where Trinidad lies, is a very active seismic region, and we expect activity in the Gulf of Paria, which is on the western side of Trinidad, to be elevated as the area settles after the magnitude 6.9 event in August. These events do not necessarily indicate a big event may happen soon or that the energy from these events will lessen the chances of a larger magnitude event from occurring." It's added. The SRC also stressed that preparedness is a necessary part of living with the earthquake hazard. Out of Barbados. The country's Prime Minister, Mia Mottley, has expressed disappointment with the way in which the retrenchment exercise in the public service is being executed. She made the comments in response to a question from the media during a brief ceremony for government and the Caribbean Development Bank, CDB, to sign a $75 million policy-based loan. PM Mottley was quoted as saying, "Am I happy with the manner in which the retrenchment is being executed? No, I am not." According to the PM, persons have been able to go home with checks, although it has not happened in all departments. She reiterated that agreeing to retrenchment of workers was the hardest thing she has had to do in public life. On October 14, 2018, Mottley said no more than 1,500, mostly in temporary positions, would be laid off in the weeks to come as her government continues to execute its International Monetary Fund IMF-supported economic recovery and transformation plan. The process began on Friday, October 19th. However, according to Government Economic Advisor Dr. Kevin Greenidge, a second phase of layoffs, up to 1,000 more, is expected to be carried out in the next fiscal year at statutory corporations. Out of St. Lucia. Police are investigating the circumstances surrounding the death of Owen Francois, a 28-year-old male resident of Bagatelle, Castries. Local media reports indicated that officers attached to the Marchand police station received a report of a suspected homicide around 12:30 a.m. on Monday, October 29th at Bagatelle. Owen Francois and the second male were allegedly shot by unknown assailants whilst occupying a stationary motor vehicle. They were conveyed to a medical facility via private means, where Owen Francois was pronounced dead by a medical practitioner. The second victim is in a stable condition. A post-mortem examination is to be scheduled for a subsequent date. Meantime, police are investigating the murder of the wife of a police officer who was shot on Monday night on the morn just outside of the capital. Police say Kimberly De Leon was shot several times. The authorities have given no motive for the killing, but media reports said that one person is assisting in the investigations. And finally, the National Network for the Defense of Human Rights, RNDD, has found that the majority of prisoners are old and unsuitable for the conditions of the prisons in Haiti. In a report published ahead of the 63rd International Prisoners' Day on Wednesday, October 31st, the RNDD provided an overwhelming and detailed report of an Haitian prison system, including the general conditions of detention and the legal situation of detainees. It said that at least 37% of those in jail were old and unsuitable with unhealthy cells. The RNDD said that from January to October 2018, at least 118 deaths were recorded in the country's prisons. The human rights group said that in terms of food, the supply distributed by the Directorate of Penitentiary Administration, DAP, has decreased, forcing prison officials to offer prisoners only one meal a day. It said on the legal side, more than 75% of prisoners are in prolonged pre-trial detention and wait for the judicial authorities to pronounce on their case. That's it for regional stories. Stay with us for news from around the world. Welcome back. And now the international news in detail. Two former Goldman Sachs bankers and Malaysian financier Joe Law have been hit with U.S. criminal charges in connection with one of the world's biggest financial scandals. The Department of Justice alleges the men participated in a scheme that stole billions of dollars from Malaysia's development fund 1MDB.
Malaysian State Investment Fund 1MDB was meant to have spent its money on development projects. Instead, it's become synonymous with financial malfeasance, and there are at least 4 separate criminal investigations taking place in the US, Malaysia, Singapore, and Switzerland. According to US documents, Goldman Sachs' former star banker and Southeast Asia chairman Tim Lessner has pled guilty and agreed to pay around $44 million in ill-gotten gains related to 1MDB. On Thursday, his former colleague Ng Chong Hua, also known as Roger Ng, was arrested in Malaysia and now faces charges of money laundering. But the man at the center of the scandal, Joe Law, remains at large.
Robert Bowers, the alleged gunman accused of killing 11 Jewish worshippers at a Pittsburgh synagogue on Saturday, has pleaded not guilty. Mr. Bowers, 46, has requested a jury trial. He faces 44 counts of murder, hate crimes, obstructing religious practices, and other crimes. Prosecutors are seeking the death penalty. Here is more in this report.
Robert Bowers appeared defiant as he appeared in court for a second time, accused of killing 11 Jewish worshippers at the Tree of Life synagogue last Saturday. Speaking only to acknowledge he understood the charges and that some could carry the death penalty, he entered a not guilty plea. The attack is believed to be the worst act of anti-Semitic violence in US history and has sparked a nationwide debate over inflammatory political language, with some accusing the president of stoking anger among white nationalists.
A convicted mafia hitman serving a life sentence for murder is reportedly the prime suspect in the killing of Boston gangster James Whitey Bulger. Multiple law enforcement sources told U.S. media that Fortius Freddy Gias, 51, and other inmates savagely beat Bulger with a lock inside a sock on Tuesday. The 89-year-old's death came less than 12 hours after he was transferred to a federal prison in West Virginia. The National Crime Agency is investigating Aaron Banks and his leave. EU campaigned for alleged offences committed at the 2016 EU referendum. Mr. Banks and another senior campaign figure, Liz Billing, were referred to the agency by the Electoral Commission. The watchdog said it suspected money given to the campaign came from impermissible sources. More in this report.
It is suggested that Mr. Banks has not been honest about where the money came from. He has apparently always maintained that he was the source of those funds which went to Leave.eu. The Electoral Commission believe that actually it came from companies outside the UK, and they further claim that Mr. Banks knew this and deliberately concealed this, and that a number of criminal offences have been committed.
And finally, United Nations officials in Yemen have warned that nearly 2 million children under the age of 5 face acute malnutrition because of the continuing civil war. The UN Children's Agency UNICEF said that if lives were to be saved, it was critically important that current efforts to end the conflict were successful. Alan Johnston reports.
The latest UNICEF figures reveal the extent of the suffering of the children of Yemen. 1.8 million under 5-year-olds face acute malnutrition. Another 400,000 children are in an even more advanced stage of the condition. And young people account for more than half the 14 million Yemenis who are at serious risk of famine. An end to the war is desperately needed. And earlier this week, the US called for a ceasefire and the start of UN-brokered peace talks within 30 days. Both the Yemeni government and its Houthi rebel opponents have welcomed the initiative.
That brings us to the end of our news segments. The latest in sports is next.
Everyone likes to get more for their money, and TDC Insurance Company is here to help you do just that. Our new motor insurance package includes everything you and your vehicle will ever need. Rest assured, if you ever have a loss, we will have you on the road in no time. Pay one affordable premium and a payment plan suitable to your needs. Choose TDCIC for your motor insurance, where you'll get more coverage for less. TDCIC, guaranteeing you peace of mind.
Welcome back. Another sports in detail. In basketball, LeBron James scored 29 points and made the game-winning free throw with 2.1 seconds left as the Los Angeles Lakers held on for a 114-113 win over the Dallas Mavericks on Wednesday night. The Lakers led nearly throughout and were up 111-98 with 3 minutes and 42 seconds to go before the Mavericks went on a 15-2 run to pull even with 7 seconds remaining. Meantime, the Golden State Warriors defeated the New Orleans Pelicans 131-121 on Wednesday night, October 31st. Tomorrow evening, Friday, November 2nd, the Warriors will go up against the Minnesota Timberwolves. In local sports, basketball action continues at the Cordaport Hart Court on Saturday, November 3rd. The G-Stars out of Nevis will engage their counterparts out of St. Kitts, the Jayhawks. The match is set to commence at 6 p.m. Elsewhere, President of the Nevis Amateur Basketball Association, NABA, Wanda Parry, has indicated that the annual Malcolm Gishard Basketball League is set to begin on Saturday, November 10th. Meantime, on Wednesday, October 31st, the primary schools football tournament continued at the E.T. Willett Park with Nevis Academy engaging the Joycelyn Liebert Primary School. The final scores were as follows: JLPS 3, Nevis Academy 0. The other matches for this week will be played on Friday, November 2nd. Still in local sports, the All-Stars team triumphed over the Highlights team on Wednesday evening as the Youth and Sports Department Development Bank sponsored tape ball cricket tournament continues. Summarized scores: All-Stars 109 for 2 from 10 overs. Giovanni Tyson 69 not out. Tijari Clark 25 not out. Kenisbet and T. Mills 1 wicket each. Highlights 39 for 7 from 10 overs. El Mills 9 and Southwell 8. Kian Pemberton 2 for 9. Delvin Clark 2 for 13. Soneldo Willett 1 for 5. All-Stars winning by 70 runs. In tennis, second seed Novak Djokovic reached the quarterfinals of the Paris Masters after Bosnia Damir Dzumhur retired with a back injury. The Serb, 31, who will take the world #1 ranking from Rafael Nadal on Monday, was leading 6-1 to 1 when Dzumhur ended the match. The Wimbledon and US Open champion did not face a break point in the match and won 72% of first serve points. He will now face Marin Cilic after the Croat beat Bulgaria's Grigor Dimitrov. Djokovic is on a 20-match winning run but was beaten by Cilic in this year's Queen's final. And finally, in cricket, India thrashed West Indies by 9 wickets after bowling the tourists out for 104 to complete a 3-1 one-day series win. The tourists were dismissed in 31.5 overs at the stadium. Captain Jason Holder top scoring with 25 runs. Left-arm spinner Rajendra Jadeja took 4 for 34 and pace bowler Jasprit Bumrah 2 for 11 from his 6 overs. Rohit Sharma made an unbeaten 63 and captain Virat Kohli hit 33 as India chased down their target in 14.5 overs. It was the West Indies' lowest total in a one-day international against India and their 10th lowest against any country. Summarized scores: West Indies 104 in 31.5 overs. Holder 25, Jadeja 4 for 34. India 105 for 1 in 14.5 overs. Rohit 63 not out. Kohli 33 not out. India won by 9 wickets and won the series 3-1. That's it for sports. General weather forecast is next. Welcome back. Another local weather forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. Weather tonight, it will be partly cloudy with a 30% or low chance of showers. Weather tomorrow will be cloudy with a 70% or high chance of showers. Winds are east to northeast at 19 to 31 kilometers per hour or 10 to 17 knots. There are significant wave heights of 1.5 to 1.8 meters or 5 to 6 feet at sea. Small craft operators should exercise caution in the waters north and east of the islands. Sunrise tomorrow would be at 6:09 a.m. And that's how we wrap up the Midi News package for today, Thursday, 1st November 2018. Before we go, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Nationally, November is Youth Month here in St. Kitts and Nevis, and St. Kitts and Nevis educators trained in impact justice restorative practices. Regionally, Trinidad encounters 8 earthquakes in 8 days. Internationally, 2 men face charges following misappropriation of billions of dollars. And in sports, LeBron James's free throw gives Lakers win over Mavericks. On behalf of the rest of the news team, I am Tashan Tyson, wishing you a pleasant evening.